go. This is a track I was talking about. That's my buddy. That's the amputee as well. Yeah. It'll take a while to get to it. You got to give him the mix in.
Oh. Building.
And then let us know when we're up. Just hand signals and whatnot. So we're live. We're going. We're going right now. Right? You mean like right now? Right now?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Now? I was going to take a nap.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, you got time, dude.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, so
Morning, everybody.
morning, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud. Thank you for joining us. I am DJ Kelly Reverb, and over there we have the Professor Nolen,
The Professor Nolen. Good morning, everyone.
aka Sparkles.
I will not abide by that nickname.
He has that nickname because
It's been thrust upon me.
he has a fear of glitter, and it's not a fear of glitter. It's a healthy respect for what glitter can do to you.
You know, if we want to talk about it later,
And it's
Jackie,
called sparkleophobia.
If we want to talk about it later, I can explain to you, why it's a smart thing to be afraid of glitter as opposed to like all the other sheep out here
that don't believe
that don't understand
in sparkleophobia.
what can happen if you don't.
Exactly.
Just be careful. Just use caution.
Yeah, of course. And
Glitter
that's pretty much it.
responsibly.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess an announcement that I have to make.
Hey now, yes.
I am now officially in the 6-month sober club.
Hey.
I have. Thank you. I have my coin to prove it, and I'm joined by the ranks of Professor Nolen as
it's
well.
about time, Kelly.
Yeah,
You know, it's
it is about time. Yeah,
it is.
It really is. Yeah, and then
I like to razz him. I'm about 10 days ahead of him, so.
Right.
In these next 10 days is really when everything starts to open up.
Sure.
You know,
of course.
And stuff starts to make sense. So don't
Right.
worry.
Did you have anything you wanted to comment on, Nolen?
Well, no. First off, congratulations,
Yes,
buddy.
I appreciate that.
6
Thank
months
you.
sober is entirely too long
Yes.
to go without alcohol. I'm not sure that you planned this well.
Right.
But no, jokes aside, congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
No, I mean I do notice the get up you got
Oh,
there.
the Lone
the
Star
little,
shirt.
The little
the Lone Star shirt. Well,
yeah.
they
The
are
famed
available.
Lone
Here,
Star
I'll
shirt.
stand up so they can get a good view of it. Support Texas and Lone Star.
You gotta tell me when you're wearing. And I'll Twinkie with you, man. I got
There you
mine at
go.
home.
Yeah, we can be twinsies.
Yeah.
All right. But we have a huge show with us today. We have a gentleman by the name of Jackie Bibby, a.k.a. the Texas Snakeman.
The Texas Snakeman.
We were actually fortunate enough to get him. He is on a show currently called The Go Big Show. And I can say that he is literally busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
I know.
Correct?
And it's even funnier when I tell it because I only have one leg. So.
There you go. I did not mean to step on your material.
Yeah. No, welcome, Jackie.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for making the drive. We know
Sure, no
it's
problem.
a journey. Yeah.
It's a drive. Stephenville to Fort Worth is a drive I've done a time or two.
Sure.
I don't live in Stephenville. I live in Rising Star.
Okay, Rising
That's
Star.
50 miles further, the other side of Stephenville.
Okay.
Get it straight.
And way
Yeah.
cooler than Stephenville, right?
Come on, know your podunk.
I don't know. I know I can sort of pinpoint some of the towns, but Texas has so many dang towns, I can't keep track of all of them. There's
You
too
don't have
many,
them
but-
memorized?
No, only those memory cells got lost somewhere along the way. I don't know. I burned those up.
Or they made new towns. I swear they make like towns up.
They probably
I'm lucky enough to have been involved in working in recovery for a little over 30 years, and I'm a certified outreach specialist.
Oh,
for
that's
Summer Scott
great.
Treatment Center. So I'm an interventionist, but I'm also a glorified salesman.
Right.
I go around and talk to people in the community, and I cover 50 counties in Texas. So I drive about 1,000, 1,500 miles a week.
So you're
Okay.
all over the place.
All
then.
over the place.
You know Texas
Anywhere
well.
where you might encounter somebody who has an addictive disorder, and that's everywhere.
That is everywhere.
Well,
That
and
is
I
for
love
sure.
it. This man's flying without a net. He does it without GPS.
Yeah.
So that's
I can read the road map to the moon, but I don't know.
In one of the cooler vehicles. I've seen
Oh
a long
yes,
time.
yes,
Yes,
yes. I will post pictures of the vehicle later.
Yes.
It is a green Cadillac, and you can't miss it when it's
Green
here.
Cadillac limousine.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, you
and not a
missed the
town
best
car,
part.
a limo.
It was funny as I was talking you into that turn or whatever. I could, I was talking you in or whatever. When you took that turn, I was like, that car looks longer than your average
Your
vehicle.
average car,
Am I missing? That's multiple windows, there.
right? Well, let's go ahead and start with basically from where you started to have a problem and where you realized it was a problem and got clean. So let's go back with a Wayback Machine.
Yeah, go back in the time machine.
I can't.
I was
remember.
raised in a little bitty country town, Rising Star, where I live now.
Uh-huh.
And it's generally about 800 people. At one time, it swelled to 1,000. We were really having a big population boom. But I went first grade there all the way through the 12th grade. There was 27 in my graduating class. 11 of us started first grade together. So, that's the environment I grew up in back in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Sure.
My first drug of choice was alcohol, like
Right.
so many different people.
Sure.
I was raised in a family that was rife with alcoholism, so it was pretty standard for people to drink. I started out drinking, going to dances, country dances. People would have them out in the country. And
Barn dances?
They wasn't barn. They were in the house. But
Oh, okay.
but all the adults would all get drunk and the kids would all run around and play. We'd wait till they got really good and drunk, and we'd start stealing drinks and taking
Yeah.
them outside
There
and
you
pass
go.
them around until they were gone. So
Sure.
we was in and out every few minutes stealing beer, mixed drinks, whatever we could get our
You
hands
set your
on.
drink down, it may go missing.
It may go missing, absolutely. And so that's kind of when I got started. 8, 9, 10 years old. I don't know,
Oh, wow.
By the time I was 14 or 15 years old, I was drinking every opportunity I got. If I oftentimes snuck out of the house,
Yeah.
would walk to town or ride my motorcycle. I had a motorcycle when I was in the 8th grade. So
Wow,
I'd
that's
ride my
perfect.
motorcycle to town, get with some of the older people, and start drinking, And they'd have me do all kinds of crazy stunts, you won't do this for a beer, I said, yeah, I will. So I jumped from the back of a running car onto another car and, drove by mailboxes and broke beer bottles off, holding the neck still in my fingers. And
Sure.
No regard for your own safety pretty early
we
on.
was having a good time.
Yeah.
So, and then about the time I graduated from high school in 1968 and started college near my hometown in Cisco, that's about the time that I found my second drug of choice, which was stimulants.
Okay.
And started out taking truck driving pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trucker speed.
White Crosses, black and yellow Mollies, things like that. And
Sure.
that eating speed, that was when I thought I'd really arrived because about 2 of them, and I
Not
was
only
cool.
was I drunk, but I had
Yeah.
some energy.
I was Cool Daddy Supreme, rich girl's playboy, and poor girl's dream. I had absolutely made it. So, I started taking those and going to college and, doing what people that develop addictive disorder do. I was qualified.
Sure.
Sure.
And luckily, I'm relatively intelligent. I can go to town without a leash on most days. And so I did pretty well in college without having to study very much because I spent most of my time, I minored in alcohol, majored in girls.
Yeah.
And I was busy, way too busy to study. But by the second semester, and this was right in the middle of the Vietnam War.
Sure.
So, everybody was terrified of going to Vietnam. And I flunked out of school because I
okay.
wasn't going to school enough. Lied about it, didn't tell my parents. I was still living at home, of course. And finally they found out and ran away from home. So I took off hitchhiking, stayed gone several days.
Do you know where you were headed?
California. I was
Yeah?
going to go out there
Well, why
and
not?
join
Yeah.
a commune.
Right? There you
And
go.
Get off
made
the
it out
grid.
to West Texas, and finally, after staying out on the road a couple of nights and was running low on money, I called my dad and said, "Can I come home?" And he said, "I didn't tell you to leave."
I love it.
I came back home, had to go in and withdraw from college, but You know, if you got a WP as opposed to a WF, then it looked better on your transcript.
Okay.
And of course, because I anticipated going back to school at some juncture, I went around to all these teachers. I had 5 classes at the time. And each of these teachers, I told them this little story that I'd made up. That my father, who worked in the oil patch, he didn't anymore, he had before,
Right.
Had got his leg cut off in an oil field accident.
Sure.
Ironically enough, now I have a
right.
prosthetic, but that's my justify for doing that. But,
Right.
Got to get a good sob story together. I got you.
and told them that that's the reason I had missed so many classes, because he was in the hospital and I had to help the family make a living, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, 4 out of 5 of them teachers bought it. One teacher gave me a WF, but I got a WP out of 4 of those classes.
Okay.
I wasn't passing nothing.
Oh, jeez.
Then, not long after that, I got drafted
Yeah.
and wanted to never go the easy route. My father was a pretty influential man in our community. He pulled some strings and actually got me in to another organization, which was the National Guard Airborne, which is an experimental National Guard unit where we jumped out of airplanes. So we had 6 months active duty instead of 3.
Right.
Okay.
So I went to that and became a paratrooper.
Okay.
2 things fell out of the sky: bird shit and idiots. And I was one of the idiots. We went to jump school, 3 weeks long, Fort Benning, Georgia. First week they separated the men from the boys. The second week they separated the men from the idiots. And third week us idiots jumped. And then I came home and was doing the monthly guard duty things.
Right.
We went and done those. I was in 2 years and 11 months.
And
Wound
now
up
we're
with-
still drinking through all this, and
Oh,
it's kind of getting
absolutely.
worse
Yeah,
and
drinking,
worse.
doing dope. I mean,
Okay.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really good. The guard unit that I was on, I was kind of known as a preacher, because I'd get drunk and then preach to everybody and tell them what all they were doing wrong. I was a pretty good preacher, but somewhat of a hypocrite, because I didn't believe in doing what I said to do, but I believe they should have.
Sure. Somewhat of a hypocrite. Yeah.
Somewhat, just a little bit. I finally got out of that early because my dad did wind up having 2 heart attacks. We did have a family business, a manufacturing plant. We had about 51 employees. So I got out of that early, but I did get an honorable discharge in 2 years and 11 months out of the military.
Okay.
Then I ran that company for a little while.
What was that company?
It was called Rising Star Cap Company at one time. Bibby's Creations is what it started out
Okay.
as. We started out making handbags and luggage. Then we went to imprinted sportswear. And we made caps and
Okay.
satin jackets and
I
things
just
like
like
that. It
to
was a
know.
sewing factory.
I got
is
you.
what it
Okay.
was.
All right.
And we were pretty successful at that. Had pretty good money. I started getting married about that time. I'm a periodic marrier.
Started getting married. I like that. Okay.
That is the best way I've ever heard of that explained.
So
Okay.
I've been married 10 times so far.
Oh, well, hold on. Is that a record?
That is a record for me personally haven't heard. And I've
Okay.
heard some good ones.
Right.
So
Okay.
So
And
all right.
loved every one of them. One's dead, 9 of them still alive.
Hats off to
Still
you,
friends
sir.
with all of them. Some of my husband-in-laws don't like me, but all my ex-wives do.
Well, all right. I can see it.
Then running that company, I got really into cocaine and speed. Stimulants, that was my thing.
Sure.
And got pretty strung out.
yeah.
So being the vice president of the company, I wound up firing myself from my job.
Good decision.
Yeah, it was a
Right.
real
Yeah.
decision because I was
Yeah.
stealing so much money. I was afraid I was going to break the golden goose. So I wanted to keep on making money. So then I went on the road dealing dope.
Okay.
Because virtually any self-respective addictive disorder person's going to support his habit by selling dope.
It's an
course.
and
easier way to
ironically
keep it
enough, I
going.
wasn't willing to steal. I do virtually anything, but I wouldn't steal. So in that I wouldn't
Except
steal.
from your own company.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's not stealing.
You know?
Yeah, that's not stealing.
And my
That's right.
parents.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
But so I started dealing dope, and I had me a little route worked out, about 200-mile route, and I'd go around selling drugs and supporting my habit, and kind of got a name as pretty high-level drug dealer.
Right.
Got busted the first time, wound up getting on probation.
Yeah.
9 months after that, I wound up getting busted the second time. And when they busted me then, they busted me for selling 2.5 ounces of speed to a DPS narcotics agent.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
Start,
That
they
never
start
goes
getting
well.
hip to your game in the smaller towns.
They asked
Yeah.
for 25 years, but we hired a really good psychiatrist from Russia. He lived in Texas then, of course, but his name's Dr. Theodore Trusevich.
Okay.
Now,
Sounds Russian.
this Russian guy came down there and told the prosecuting attorney that if he didn't give me probation, that he's going to get me off. And he pretty much terrified this DA because DA knew he couldn't beat him.
Right.
So my dad paid about $68,000 to keep me out of prison.
Wow, and that's long money. Even
that was in the 70s.
Yeah, that's
So,
super long money.
A couple hundred right now.
And then 9 months later, I got busted again. And that time there was no getting me out. I wound up going
Three
to prison.
strikes and you're out, man.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a poem that was published in a law officer's magazine about getting busted. I wish I had it with me. It's pretty funny.
Right? Well, they can look it up. It's online.
Dude, I'm going to Google it right now, see if we can
right.
find it.
I don't know that it's online anywhere.
may not
be.
We're going to put it on my YouTube channel, but it's not on there yet. But they published that. One of the deputies there, I wrote it, and he sent it in the magazine. They published it. It's more or less about me getting busted and I'm going to go to prison and stuff. And when they actually published it, I was in prison. So I wound up getting 2 8-year sentences running concurrently. Spent 26 months in prison down Huntsville. Got out of there and obviously didn't learn a thing. I was drinking before nightfall. But I was pretty sure I wasn't going
And
back.
how old are you at this time?
It was in I went in 79, got out in 81.
Okay.
So,
All right.
you know, I was born in 50.
Okay. Easy
So
enough.
almost
round
30, about
numbers.
30.
About 30 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was pretty sure I couldn't shoot dope again, but I didn't really perceive there being a problem with drinking. Drinking
Yeah.
had never
Sure.
been my problem. I'd only had one DWI.
Right.
That is a common.
about nothing.
That is a
Common
common thought
misconception.
process.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, it was maybe 6 months before I was back shooting dope, hand over fist.
Yeah.
And by that time, I was doing so many things that had gone downhill to the point. I was married to my third wife at the time. She had moved off. She was scared of me.
Probably.
Finally
sure.
wound
Good
up with
reason.
my dad. I had took one car. My wife was living in Waxahachie, and I kept going over there trying to get her back and to come back home, and she wouldn't. And we wound up losing one car. I wrecked it or got stolen, something, I don't remember. But it went away. Then I came back and got another pickup that belonged to the company and took off in it and wound up kidnapping my wife, and my stepson chased me down, shot holes in the side of the pickup.
Ooh.
And all this time there was a cop following us, and he never pulled us over. So I'm fighting with my wife, and I'm asking her, why? Why are they not stopping us? We went through a roadblock, and they didn't stop us.
Yeah.
And she said, the cops gave me some chemicals, some laboratory chemicals. I'm supposed to plant on you and then let them know when they're planted where they can bust you and go to prison, and I'll be out of danger. I said, what'd you do with them? She said, I threw them in the river. So
Weird.
Okay.
That is weird.
Yeah. So you kidnapped your wife, and she was supposed to turn you in, or
But the
or
laboratory
frame you.
chemicals part is the weird part.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they were going to bust me with the lab. They thought I was cooking. I
For
wasn't
manufacturing
cooking.
or something.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to
Right.
get you on.
Okay.
But I really wasn't cooking. I was just dealing, but
Yeah,
they thought I was
sure.
cooking because I had large amounts.
Most at
So-
that time too, most people with large
Yeah.
amounts are cooking.
They
Yeah.
finally
Right.
wound up pulling me over, got me back behind the pickup, and when they did, they handcuffed me and told my wife, drive. So she got in the pickup and drove off. They wound up putting me in jail. They left me in jail in Meridian in Bosque County, and I stayed there about 2 or 3 days, and they let me out on a PR bond.
Personal
Okay.
reconnaissance bond
Yeah,
for
let
you.
me out.
That's fun.
And I took off hitchhiking. I was going to Waxahachie to try to find that pickup. And the second car that picked me up is an old Chevrolet car, and there's 2 old men in it. One old guy and one young guy. Young guy driving, and they had some beer with them and had some fishing poles. And they asked me if I wanted a beer, and I drank a beer with them, and we're talking, and I start telling them this story about, that I'm heading back to Waxahachie. This guy that's driving, he kind of slows his car down. He said, son, I'm going to tell you something. He said, you don't really need to go back to Waxahachie. He said, I'm a federal officer, and I'm telling you, if you go back there, we're probably going to kill you. So I got out and hitchhiked the other way. I thought maybe Waxahachie's not a real good direction for me to go.
Yeah. Good advice. Good advice from the officers.
So I got back to Rising Star and got in a big fight with my father in front of one. We had 2 buildings downtown Rising Star. And we were out on the street, and he finally threw 2 $100 bills at me and said, I never want to see you again.
Oh, okay.
And so I whipped him. I beat him up.
Okay.
And at
Thanks for
the time, he
$200
was not only a
Pop. Let me
business owner,
kick
but
your
he was
ass.
also a constable in our precinct. So he wound up arresting me and taking me to jail.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When he gets me over there to the jailhouse, he and I had been running the jail ministry after I got out of prison. And so we took Bibles into the jail and gave them to people that's going to prison.
Gotcha.
So the jailer over there thought it was a joke and wouldn't lock me up. My dad was livid. He was just about to kill somebody. We went across the street to the DA's office. My dad's eating the DA out. saying that this jailer wouldn't lock me up. And there's some guy sitting there in a chair, and I reach over and get him by the lapels and push him up against the wall. I decide he's a fed and he's after me.
Oh,
Slightly paranoid.
Of course.
Good,
You know how
good old
people-
methamphetamines.
He was
Yeah.
after you.
Well, after that, I got locked up. Wasn't any problem
Right.
to get locked up after that.
Sure.
8 days in jail, and then they sent me to a treatment center, court committed.
Okay.
State Hospital, Wichita Falls. I was doing real good up there, learning some interesting stuff. Decided, why not? I'll try this recovery thing. Sounded interesting. But the second I was there, I had visitation. I had my mother bring me some stuff from my home that was on the dresser. It was just a sack of stuff. I said, it's got a bunch of stuff in. I need you to bring it to me. Well, it had some butyl nitrate in it, Huffers.
Okay.
Yeah, so she brought that, and then I got a couple of these girls to huffing with me, and we organized a little small orgy. And we were going to pull that off, and I'd be darned if some people didn't snitch me off. And I got me and 6 other people kicked out of a 50-bed treatment center there. And
Oh, man.
I hit the road and take off hitchhiking. Come up here to Dallas. I got a friend up here that I went through school, first grade through high school, 12th grade, and he had become an attorney. And I wound up at his house, and he was keeping me, trying to keep me sober, and I'm telling him all about what's going on and everything.
Telling him
Ironically enough,
about the orgies you're facilitating in rehab.
Yeah. Just the story that is my misfortune. Yeah.
how they were mistreating me.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to convince him.
A string of bad luck.
Yeah.
All right.
And ironically enough, he was in AA, and he's already straightened up a little bit.
Okay.
And he was trying to press AA on me, which I didn't really buy. But one day while he's at work, I'm watching TV and just had the TV on for the noise. And it's on a 700 Club, and a guy comes on, and he's talking about being an addict.
Okay.
And I'm looking, and this guy's talking directly to me. And I wind up on my knees holding on to a desk in my friend's front room, listening to this guy and crying.
Yeah.
The next day I went to an NA meeting,
Oh.
started the journey.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that is so
And that was in
amazing. Yeah. And we're so
86.
glad.
86.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first 2.5 years I was in recovery, I probably did less dope than I used to do on a weekend,
Yeah.
but I couldn't stay completely clean. I
But
kept
getting
going
better.
back into, I was.
Yeah.
Right.
Even then, was learning enough of the principles and was trying to get honest enough to stay clean. And then I went almost directly to work in the field.
Yeah.
Was working for a treatment center. I wasn't clean 30 minutes. Lied and told them I probably had 2 weeks. I don't know.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
hey, I can sell an Esco on icicle.
Yeah.
I talk more bullshit than Jack on the radio. So it wasn't no time at all till I got a job in the field. I started going to counselor school, went back to college. And at one time, I was going to college in Tarleton. I was living in Rising Star, had a job in Hyco. I was going to counselor school in Dallas. So I was wearing the roads out like
Wow.
any self-respecting
Yeah.
speed freak. And I wasn't doing speed anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have a story to interject here that
Staying busy,
Nolen will appreciate this, and I don't mean to stop you, but okay, there's a guy, Scott Kelly, that we all know, right?
Yeah.
Has Summer Sky, which is a fantastic facility.
Hey, sponsor of the show, in fact.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Summer
Work
Sky.
that in. But so you actually 24 years ago went and did the intervention for Scott Kelly.
Oh,
I
I did
did.
not know this. Okay.
Yes.
And today he's my boss and the owner of the company. And I did the intervention on and put him in Summer Sky.
Yeah.
When he
Right.
was 17 years old.
So no, but get this. So Scott Kelly's sitting there, and Jackie Bibby walks in, and Scott Kelly's reading his Bible because he thinks that that's going to make it. Oh, maybe he won't take me into rehab.
Yeah, make it look like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey man, I'm just reading my Bible. Man.
Yeah.
I'm all good.
There's nothing wrong with me here, sir.
Right.
They've overreacted.
Yeah. So tell us about that story. Tell us so you walk in and.
I didn't know Scott. I knew his father a little bit because his father worked for my cousin. So when he began to get in trouble for dealing dope in high
Sure.
school, my cousin told him they should probably call me. I was working for Summer Sky at the time
Okay.
as an outreach specialist and an interventionist. So they called me and we set up an intervention. And I just went to his house and intervened on him. I just told him straight up,
Yeah.
you're going to have to go with me because I'm not going to let you go anywhere else. You ain't going back to school. You ain't going nowhere. You're coming to treatment.
And this is like an 18-year-old Scott Kelly.
17.
Right? 17. Okay.
So he loaded up and we went to treatment. He went to treatment, got out. And he did, like myself, have some sporadic relapses for a little
Sure.
while there. Then he got clean. you know,
Yeah.
and went to work for Summer Sky and started out as a tech. Now he owns the company.
Yeah,
so
I
there
know,
you go.
crazy,
That's how you
huh?
become a success.
Yeah.
Sweep the floor till you can become president.
There you go, for sure.
But a great guy, just a wonderful individual.
Fantastic guy. Yeah, Nolen
Old
and I.
school recovery. I mean, all the way.
We're actually going to visit him today. We're doing our first public appearance.
I don't know about public, but
yeah.
it's an appearance.
Yeah, it's an appearance
Yeah.
at Summer Sky, so
Yeah.
that'll be fun, man. I'm excited to do that. But let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I want, as you were telling your story too,
Yeah.
it's so like when you at the end there when you started to shack up with the lawyer friend of yours, I could tell just in the change in your voice. Essentially that's the moment where you can kind of see God start working in your life. I could hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's so cool.
It's a
listening to
natural
stories like that.
progression.
Yeah.
And when you get ready for the teacher will generally
Yeah.
appear.
Yeah.
You just got to be open to
Sure.
it. And I was riding a bus from my friend's house to downtown Dallas to that NA meeting at noon every day, and I was terrified. I'm country as dirt. I mean, and so for a country boy to be in the city and be riding this bus down there every day.
Sure.
And after only a few days, as a guy started giving me a ride back home, I'd ride the bus down there, and I wouldn't have to ride the bus back. He'd give me a ride back to my friend's house. And after staying there for a little while, a couple of weeks, I talked to my ex-wife who wasn't speaking to me. She started speaking
Which
to me
one was
again.
this? Was it still number
Number
three?
three, yeah.
Okay, still number three.
And she started talking to me, and then my dad started talking to me, and they put me on a bus to send me back home, and my dad took me back to the same treatment
I'm going
center.
to put you on the spot. So can you actually, and you don't have to, but can you actually name all your wives?
Betty number 1,
Okay, let's hear it. Give it a try.
Judy K.
Okay.
Betty number 2,
Okay.
Anya.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay. I mean,
Okay.
Steffi Lynn.
Oh, Steffi Lynn.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good lady.
Then Karen. Alyssa.
Yeah.
What are we up
We're
to?
gonna
I'm
get it.
missing
We're gonna
a
get it.
couple of them.
You got 7 so
Because-
far.
Yeah, because Alyssa actually was. I got to put Christy in there because Christy's the one I got 2 kids with.
Okay.
So I got to
We'll give
insert
a
her.
shout
She's
out,
right
yeah.
after Anya.
Okay.
Then just before. Her and Steffi Lynn were about the same time. I was
Okay.
going to both of them at the same time.
We'll work on that, and we'll get the list.
You got
We'll get the
8.
list. We'll get the list. Maybe you can put that
Now,
on your.
Alyssa was the last one. She was a redheaded nurse, and I was about early 60s, and she was 24. And we got together. She couldn't stay up, but she tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, she tried to stay up with me.
Well,
but-
now what you can do is actually, once you get that organized, you can put that on your YouTube channel. All the girls I loved before. and while we're talking about that, I want to talk about your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of good stuff on there. By the way, in case y'all don't know, this is the Texas Snakeman.
Yes.
So I want to know
Sort
how-
of a claim to fame here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, he's big time. He's
Yep.
got some accomplishment going on here. We are talking with a well-rounded, accomplished man.
Yes.
But so how in the equation or where in the equation do the rattlesnakes come in?
I started sacking rattlesnakes at a rattlesnake roundup in 1969. I was, excuse me, I was 18 years old, and I'm a thrill seeker. That's obvious.
Sure.
I like adrenaline. And I saw this contest that they had, and you had to pick up 10 rattlesnakes and put them in a bag. One guy holds a sack. You dump them out in this little pit where all these people are standing around watching, and you got to pin each one, or you get a 5-second penalty. If you get bit, you get a 5-second penalty.
If you get bit,
you get a penalty.
Yeah.
And so you got to put them in a sack the fastest, and the person puts them in the fastest wins. And the first time I ever entered in 1969, I won 2 trophies, $30, and got my name in the paper
Just straight off the
Okay.
bat.
straight off the bat.
Okay.
You are a natural.
Yeah.
And I mean, after that, I was hooked on it. So I was involved in that sport for up until they quit it.
And a lot of people don't even realize that it is a sport.
Yeah, it's like calf roping. It's a timed event.
Yeah,
sure.
I hold the world record in that sport now that I set in 1991.
Right.
I did 10 rattlesnakes in 17.11
I want to read
seconds.
just a
Sacking
few
10
of,
rattlesnakes
here it
in
is.
17.11.
Here it is. Holding the most rattlesnakes in one's mouth. You hold that record for 13.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Let's see.
Which is where you put rattlesnakes, in
Of
case you didn't know.
course,
You put them in your mouth.
Or you might want to put them in a bathtub, which is laying in a bathtub with the most snakes, 195 rattlesnakes, correct?
Yes, sir.
That seems like too many rattlesnakes in the tub with you.
And these are all not milked. These are live.
Oh, yeah.
And
They wouldn't change it
They'll
anyway.
put the hurting on you. Okay, so, and then I love this. Lying in a sleeping bag, because a bathtub is not enough. You need to lie in a sleeping bag with 109 rattlesnakes.
It's 150.
Okay, well,
Feet first.
obviously antiquated information.
Yeah, we gotta
I
get
have
this
here.
updated here.
Yeah, and then here's where you were talking about sacking. So you have sacking rattlesnakes in the fastest time, 17.11 seconds.
Right.
Is that your fastest
And
time still?
It is. It's
Okay.
set in 1991. And I also hold the record for getting a sleep bag head first with
That is the
24
next one I was going to
rattlesnakes.
read.
Head first.
Head first into a sleeping bag
With rattlesnakes.
with rattlesnakes, and only 24 of them.
So they're in there already, and
No,
then
no.
you
I
get
get in there. They put them in.
Okay.
Zip it up and then pull me out by my feet.
What's the trick? Just stay as still as humanly
Yeah,
possible?
because when they start flicking their tongues against your ear, it's kind of nerve wracking.
Right, I
Yeah.
could imagine.
Yeah.
I could imagine.
I bet it is.
They are, but they're what, like heat sensitive or?
Yeah, they have heat sensing organs on their face, which look like nostrils.
Right.
But they're pits and they're
Yeah.
heat sensing organs. That's where they can bite a mouse or a little small animal. Human beings' body heat is so overwhelming that they're not going to bite at that as a result of their heat sensing organs.
Okay.
And they bite at movement. Rapid
Okay.
movement triggers a strike. So
Sure.
if you lay real still,
So
they don't feel threatened by you.
Right, I got
So
you.
there's no reason for them to bite. But I never taught a rattlesnake
now
to read the
that
script.
brings me to
Do
the.
they-
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I bet they set each other off, though, when you got that
They
many
can.
in there.
They
yeah.
can, yeah.
And is that kind of I'm going to stay still and not set them off, but hopefully they don't set each other off?
Okay.
That happened to us at a taping of Ripley's Believe It or Not show out in California.
Okay.
We ultimately put 83 in there before we finished. But I was in a glass bathtub, and I'm sitting there, and two of them getting a fight in my lap, and they're biting each other.
in your lap.
In my
Imagine
lap.
that.
But
yeah.
one of my friends had to come
with your
over.
own personal rattlesnake there in jeopardy.
So he took one of them out where they could calm down, and then started putting others in.
So,
Okay.
okay, the $1 million question I was trying to get to: how many times have you been bitten?
12 times in 51 years.
12 times. That's
Okay.
I guess, is that a good ratio?
I would think so.
Hey, see, he's still here.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say it's pretty good.
So okay, so then I was also doing some research on YouTube, and I noticed you were like super immune to the rattlesnake venom.
No,
or
there's a thing called hyperimmunity, but that
Okay.
requires envenomation
Okay.
like every week. I have a friend that is.
Okay.
On my YouTube page, there's a story about him and shows him injecting rattlesnake venom.
okay,
But you have to getting bit 12 times gives you no immunity whatsoever.
right, okay.
That's just not
I
enough-
got you. So it would
it's not
still
enough
be
venom.
a life-threatening situation. If
Every
you
time.
got it
I'm
today.
actually, I guess nickname of Professor Nolen or whatever, because I am full of useless information. But one of the things that I'm obsessed with and full of useless information about is venomous creatures. So I just think venom's the coolest thing in the world. I mean, it's just what a great weapon to have. Like, well, just a drop of this stuff and, gone. So what, not all rattlesnakes are created equal in that way. Some more venomous than others. What do you generally work with?
Western diamondback,
Western-
Crotellus atrox.
Oh, one of the worst. Yeah.
the most poisonous.
The worst is the
please.
Mojave green.
Yeah, the Mojave with the neurotoxic.
It has a
venom,
neuro
yeah.
and hemo.
Yeah.
Has both.
And then so these are the ones that are mostly just going to break down and,
And I work with
necrotize,
cobras as
whatever.
well.
Okay.
Oh,
I do a stunt called Kiss of Death on a cobra.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and just talk about this. As a result of the bites, you have sustained a few injuries, correct?
Yes, my worst bite was when I lost my leg.
Okay. And
About
that
8
happened
years ago, I
8
was
years?
in Dallas doing a show in a hotel, 300 people there. and I walked too close to a really big 6-foot rattlesnake, and he
Okay.
bit above my boot and got me in the calf of the leg.
Oh, wow.
It was just a lucky shot that he got me where he did.
Sure.
And he was just a really big snake. He was full of venom, and he just pumped me full.
Wow.
They had me at the hospital at Parkland within an hour.
Sure.
3 days later, they had to cut my leg off. It was
Oh,
dead.
wow.
It completely killed that
Wow.
leg.
And anti-venom for the Diamondbacks, I mean, is it essentially does it help much? I mean,
It does. Crowfab is the newest antivenin that they have, and
Yeah.
it's made with sheep's blood. And it's much better than the horse blood that they used to use.
Okay.
Because you don't have to suffer from serum sickness. And it'll save your life probably, but may not necessarily save an extremity. So
Yeah, so the bite side is kind of whatever.
you get a lot of
happened there
necrosis,
is
and
gonna-
you get a lot of blood blistering and discoloration. It busts blood vessels. So
Yeah.
oftentimes when I've been bitten in the hands, I'll have blood vessels bust under my arms and in my ankles. So it turn black and blue throughout your body.
I mean, it's just so fascinating to me.
Oh, I agree.
To do that to a human body with, just drops. Just a few
Yeah.
drops, really.
So,
There's a
good.
National Geographic magazine in 2005 did a story called Venom, and I'm one of the persons that participated in that story
okay.
about venom. It's a pretty good story. You might look it up online.
I'll check it out.
Hey, so
leg-
I want to read just a few of your
Well,
special skills.
Let's get through the injuries and then
Oh,
we'll get
oh,
in
sorry.
there.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
because I'm curious too.
Okay,
So
so-
the leg.
The legs are worse than this hand.
Uh-huh.
I've got don't have any use of this thumb. Have limited use of this thumb.
Okay.
But I've been bit on the finger. I've
Yeah.
been on one other leg and this leg. 2 on the legs. Most of them on the finger and on the hands.
Now, which one was like? Was there one that was more painful than another one, or are they all smart?
They all hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that feel like? The
What's
moment
that
of
feel-
getting bit. I'm
Well,
yeah.
here, hold
It
on,
don't hurt
Nolen.
right at first.
Okay.
It takes about 30 minutes to really get sore.
Okay.
Everywhere that the swelling goes is busted blood vessels. So you mark it while you're on the way to the hospital.
Okay. Yeah. See,
To
it's the
keep up with
progression.
how fast it's moving.
Got it.
You put the time down. And then everywhere that swelling goes gets so sore the touch you can't touch it.
Oh wow.
It's just
So it's miserable. And
busting apart
You
inside.
get
yeah.
a taste underneath your tongue, kind of like a coppery penny taste.
Oh.
And then within
Of
a
course,
couple
like
of
getting
hours,
electrocuted.
You're generally
Yeah.
doing projectile vomiting.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So yeah, that's man, that is amazing. Like, yeah, I'm just trying to process it all.
Yeah.
But people often ask me, but you being bitten that many times, why do you keep on doing it? Because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anything that you're passionate about, you're going to pay a price.
Right. Now I remember my question.
I don't think you could stop if you wanted
so
to,
if
really,
you do,
you know?
if you do get bit, right? If you're out in the wild, let's give them some advice. What are you supposed to do besides call a doctor and get in an ambulance? Is there anything you can do?
Best thing you
'cause I've
use
heard
is
of
your cell phone.
Lance.
You don't really want to cut X's over and suck it out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt anything. You can drink rattlesnake venom, won't hurt you, but it'll make your hair fall out. But you can ingest it with no ill effects. It has to get inside your tissue or your bloodstream
Okay.
to cause harm. So sucking the venom out would help, but it's not going to do any good. We carry an extractor device, which is a big syringe-looking thing, 4 different size of cups. You depress that, it exerts 750 millibars of suction, and it'll suck some venom back out.
I gotcha.
So it's pretty effective if you get it on there.
But if
within
you're in the wild
2
and
or
you
3
don't
minutes,
have one,
we
call
always
on your
carry
cell
one in
phone.
the glove box.
Yeah.
So
We have them with
get
us
it
all the
right
time.
on the bite straight
And
away.
depress it,
and
yeah,
it basically
and it'll
just,
suck some venom right back out because it pools just beneath the skin.
Yeah.
And any venom you can get out lessens the severity of the bite.
Yeah.
So we do that on the way to the hospital,
Sure. Okay.
and then mainly get there because they can begin to look at it. If they have to do this, is what's known as a fasciotomy.
yes. So
The
it's to relieve
fascia
the pressure, basically.
There's a part of your tissue that won't swell. So there's a great deal of swelling associated with the envenomation. So opening the fascia allows that to relieve the pressure.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have less tissue damage.
So assuming you don't have a suction device, which you probably won't.
Right.
Sucking out the venom's not going to do much. Well,
No.
I mean, what do you do? Basically, just stay calm and get to a hospital
Absolutely.
ASAP?
You got some time. If you're bitten in the hand or the arm or the leg or somewhere, if you're not bitten in the neck or the torso, you got some time. You ain't going to die. Get to the hospital and let them begin.
we can test it out on Nolen. I'll bring him out to Rising Star, and
Yeah.
We can just see how long it
he's
takes.
so,
We'll just
he's
get
no
bit.
he's fascinated by venom.
yeah, we'll
Let's just get me bit in different spots
Right,
and measure
yeah.
it. You know, we'll
Yeah.
just kind of check it
kind
all
of like
out.
your fascination with heroin, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
But okay, so essentially, the furthest away from the heart and the organs, the better.
Yeah.
As far as the bite. So yeah.
We have had a couple of snake handlers that I've known in the 51 years I've been handling die.
Yeah.
As a result of getting bit. Generally, it's because it hits a main vein or an artery.
Okay.
And if they inject directly in there, it'll go to the heart and kill you.
Yeah.
But if it's in the muscle tissue, you got a while because it's going to move pretty slow. And you get there, and with the Crofab, the antivenin that they have now, it's going to lessen the severity of the bite. It's going to save your life. You're still going to have a great deal of harm, and you're going to have some muscle deterioration.
Now I have a question. You also do typical like your annual snake events, correct? Are they still going on with
Rattlesnake
COVID?
roundups. With the COVID last year, we had 3 roundups, and they cut us out.
Okay.
This year, they're already canceling them left and right. So I don't know if we'll have any this year or not. But,
Right.
we only had 3 last year, and we generally have about 7 or 8.
Right.
So
And,
Well, maybe
and I
we'll get
gotta,
further down in the
I got to
year.
say, as host of our little show,
Yeah.
we are very pleased to be in the company of your television appearances. I noticed you were on the, let's see, well, you said
The
Ripley's
list is
Believe It or Not.
lengthy.
Yeah, well, I'll just hit some highlights. A little thing called The Tonight Show. Jay Leno.
Jay
You
Leno.
know.
the first big one I was on was Chevy Chase on
Chevy
Fox out
Chase.
in
I love
Hollywood.
it. I remember that.
I
Yeah.
was on with Jamie Lee Curtis. Great time. We
Yeah,
had a
sure.
blast. That was the first big one that I was on. Then Jay Leno, Maury Povich, Ricky Lake,
Yeah,
Sally
old Maury
Jesse
Povich.
Barfield,
I
Steve
know.
Harvey, 2020, Ripley's Guinness.
Hey, a couple Walker Texas
And
Ranger episodes.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Don't sell yourself short.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Walker
Yeah.
Texas Ranger filmed in the great city of Fort Worth, Texas.
Don't get Chuck Norris. Man. But let's see, what else do we have? We also, because you're a bit of a character actor as well.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm starting a few films as well.
Okay,
And
so-
I have 2 starring roles coming up in a couple of films.
Let's hear about it.
Well, one of them is called Enough is Enough, and I play a homeless man that God inhabits his body.
Okay.
He comes back, and nobody knows that he's inhabited by God. They put him on trial for something he didn't do.
Okay.
And
It's
what's that
kinda-
going to be coming out on, or is it an independent release?
It
or-
is, yeah.
Okay.
It's a small budget film, like
Sure.
most of my stuff is.
Right.
But it's we'll be shooting down in Houston. We've shot some publicity stuff for it. We've did some advertising. But it's called Enough is Enough. It's by a producer named Graydon Taylor.
Okay.
He and I have done some stuff together before. And then I'm up for one in North Carolina. If I get it, it's a really big role. It's called Pump House.
Okay.
And it's based on a Ripley's Believe It or Not true story about an old man that fell through the steps of his pump house, injured himself so badly he couldn't get up, and he laid 2 days in a rattlesnake pile because they were denned up in his pump house.
Why would they consider you for that
Who
role?
else could be cast in that role aside from
Is there
And
other
he
guys
didn't
that
get
you're
bit.
in competition with?
But the irony of it is the man who wrote this story wrote a love story about it.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful story because this old man's wife dies just before this incident.
Okay.
And he's actually going to commit suicide when he falls into the pit. And while he's there, his protagonist become there's a rat in there and there's a big snake in there. And just like Tom Hanks used the soccer ball.
Yeah.
yeah,
you know,
volleyball.
to
Wilson.
further the story,
Right,
Wilson,
yeah.
I'm going to use the snake and the rat, and I'm going to talk to them. And during the course of the movie, I'm going to decide my wife would not have wanted me to kill myself.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll
that
put in a
sounds
good word
powerful.
for you.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is
I
going to
think-
sit
I think
in
you're
there with some
qualified.
snakes and whatnot.
I'll make a call to the casting director.
That's
and,
an
make sure that
independent
happens.
filmmaker named Jet Eller,
Okay.
who had
Okay.
a really big hit film about 15 years ago called Night Feeders,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
horror film. So
And then let's go into. I noticed on your filmography that you were also in the Keys to Tulsa.
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Now, were
Eric
you,
Stoltz and Mary Tyler Moore.
right, and then James Spader, of course, right?
I didn't meet Spader. I met.
Were you? Did you shoot it? Because part of that they shot at the Lizard Lounge. Not a lot of people know that, but that's where I used to DJ, and I was DJing there when they were shooting. But I don't know where you shot your scene or.
We actually, the one I was in was at a hotel here in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
At a ballroom. It was supposed to have been in Tulsa.
Right.
When Mary Tyler Moore announced she was going to get married, and she was telling her 2 sons.
Sure.
And her youngest son winds up getting drunk and crashing through a table.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually dancing with a girl who's playing my wife.
Right.
During that, and I get some pretty good shots. It's
Now, did
featured
this
extra.
girl actually become a wife eventually?
No, not that one. But she was redheaded, and redheads are my favorite.
Well, ladies, you've heard it here first. Jackie is partial to the redhead.
Yeah. Currently married?
No, I'm looking.
No. Looking. Always looking.
Always
looking.
looking.
Always
Well,
in
now
the
we're
market.
in the double digits. So, you know, you got to, yeah. You got to get into the team.
You've got goals. So let's talk about. I know because you made a special trip for us, which I appreciate, but also you are here to get refitted for your prosthetic. Correct?
I'm gonna get my prosthetic limb
adjusted,
tuned up. Yeah,
tuned up,
Nice.
tuned up.
Gotta
yeah.
check
You know,
the
I have to
fluids.
plug it in at night like a cell phone. It has a computer in it.
Yeah,
You know, because it's above the knee, so I have an electronic knee.
Okay.
sure.
And so, you know, it has to be sporadically tuned up and looked at and changed out and stuff.
And
so
they-
we'll be doing that. And also tomorrow we'll be filming for my YouTube channel at the prosthetic place.
Right, and your YouTube channel is Jackie Bibby, and just look that
Jackie
up.
Bibby Official.
Jackie Bibby official.
Because I have
There
3
we go.
YouTube pages. But yeah, Jackie Bibby Official.
Okay.
And then also after that, we're going to go to the iFly here in town, and I'm going to do indoor skydiving. I'm gonna
Yeah.
film
Right,
that as
and
well.
you
Yeah.
have not done this since the loss
Since
of
I
your
lost a
leg.
leg, yeah. I did it when I had both my legs, but I'm going to be trying it as an amputee now, which I can pull it off.
Heck yeah.
I think you can probably pull off most things that people
Yeah.
can't.
Oh, heck yeah. I got to do that. We got to do that.
Oh, no, I'm in. Yeah,
It looks so fun.
Yeah. Maybe we can squeeze it in tomorrow. Maybe we can meet up.
Yeah,
I don't
come
know.
on over.
I don't know. Yeah, but I also wanted to talk then, and this is really important. About what role you're currently doing and how people, if they want help or if they want help personally by you. I mean, how cool would that be to have your sobriety coach be Jackie Bibby, the Texas Snakeman?
Hey, if you got to get interventioned,
You're right.
might as well have it
I
be by
go to
somebody
meetings
fun.
all over the country.
Sure.
And virtually everywhere I go, somebody comes up. Some I remember and some I don't. They say,
Sure.
You did the intervention. You took me to treatment. You
Yeah.
talked to my mother. You talked to my wife. You talk, and all that's in God's hands, not mine.
Right.
I suit up and show up. Whatever
go.
they hand me, I play my hand best I can.
And do
you
you work for somebody specifically, or?
Well, I work for Summer Sky.
Oh, okay.
So it's a service that Summer Sky provides if the individuals are going to be coming to Summer Sky.
So
My
you're
service
rounding
is-
them up
I'm
and
a
bringing them
certified
in.
outreach specialist.
I got
So
you. Okay.
What I do is, and probably 8 out of 10 people that I come in contact with don't have money or insurance.
Sure.
So I have to get those people referred into the various subsidized treatment centers. So I network with treatment centers all over the state
Right. I got you.
to make sure people can get the help. Because, when
like
they call
Homeward
in,
Bound
yeah.
and various
All
what's
kinds of 'em.
What's
Yeah,
the
this-
one in Fort Worth?
Fort Worth, Pine Street.
Pine
it's-
Street, yeah.
Billy Gregory, MHMR is the technical name for it.
Okay.
But,
We'll just call it Pine
Everybody
Street.
calls it Pine Street.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
what
Pine
everybody
Street.
calls it, yeah.
But I mean, every city's got one. Centacor down in Waco, there's one out in Tyler. I mean, if you don't have insurance, you don't have any money, that should not stop you. If you need help,
Shouldn't if
we
if
get
you
you
want
help.
it bad enough.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I
when
agree.
you get ready, you'll do what it takes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Instead of what you want to.
Sometimes waiting ain't an option. You know what I mean? And it's time to go. So
And I don't know if you mind here, but I'm sure you don't. But I want to go ahead and hit your special skills on the website here. Okay, so obviously we know the world champion snake handler, student pilot skydiver. So you have some history in that.
Yep.
I love this. The arm wrestling Central Texas champion.
1976.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
left or right?
Right-handed.
Right-handed.
Right. Okay.
I
And
think
then
they separate them out.
there you go. I love this.
And I belong to 2 factions: World Arm Wrestling Association and World Professional Arm Wrestling Association.
Nice.
Just
Back
On the
then, I don't
on the
anymore.
table with the handle and the
Yeah, Where you make the light go off.
yeah.
Okay, motorcyclist, scuba diver, rodeo bull riding, bareback horseman. Okay, why not? Skiing, of course. That's
So far, this is all
whatever.
stuff I also do.
And then I like this public speaking. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. And then let's see, military experience. We got to that. Hang gliding. Have you been hang gliding lately?
I have. Yeah, not lately, no.
No?
I want to get an ultralight at some juncture because I really enjoy
Because
it.
that's dangerous and I like it.
Oh man, hang gliding looks like
No, but I would
a
love to do
blast.
an ultralight.
Yeah.
I actually have a
I've
friend
flown
that
in
was
an
looking
ultralight, but I
yeah.
had never owned one yet.
Ever done one of the you're about to go indoor skydiving with the suits, the fly suits or whatever that they make. Have you ever jumped and done the fly suit thing?
I have not.
Okay.
They didn't have those around back when I was in
Yeah.
the jump club, but
Dangerous
a friend
stuff,
of mine
but
was a
looks
crop
amazing.
duster. He had a crop dusting plane at Pawnee. We took the door off of the hopper where you put the chemicals, and it was right between him and the propeller. And I put sunglasses on, climbed over in the propeller, and held on the outside of the cowl. And we flew with my head sticking out.
Because that sounds safe. Right? Yeah, right? Why not? Why not? Well, I want to be sure and get your plugs in so everybody knows all the stuff. So your YouTube channel, Jackie Bibby Official.
Yes, sir.
And then your website, is it just because I
Facebook is really the best place to find me.
Facebook, because
Okay.
you have 3 profiles on there?
Four.
Four profiles, right. I got to find which one's you'll actually have to point me out which one's your actual profile, and then you'll have to dump a friend so I
You can get on?
yeah, exactly.
Because I think I have 700 and something requests pending right now. But you get 5,000 on a
Yeah.
personal page, it won't let you have any more.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then I'll clean up a little bit where I can add a few people.
Do a little cleaning house, or maybe you need to send me an invite. It might be easier that
But
way.
the Texas Snakeman is one of my pages that my publicist runs it, but
Sure.
it's a fan page.
Right.
And then I also have Country Counselor, and I have Rising Star Entertainment Network. Rising Star Entertainment Network is a production company that I run that does videos and public appearances. My acting and all that stuff goes through RCN.
Oh, okay.
So
All
that's
right.
one of my web pages as well.
And I'll just read this URL real quick. But I mean, if you just Google Jackie Bibby, all kinds of good stuff's going to come up.
Yeah.
You'll be researching for hours like I was last
You're watching
last
some
night.
pretty
I'm
cool
like,
videos.
Oh my god! Wait, he's got rattlesnakes in his mouth. Oh
Yeah.
wait, he's talking about superhuman venom strength, and I'm like, what's going on?
I gotta find a video, and I hadn't seen one yet of you bagging 10. I mean, that's 17.11 seconds to bag 10 rattlesnakes. Really, kind of piece that out, how fast that is, because you said you got to pin them, then get
Pick 'em
them,
up,
bag
pin 'em
them,
back.
straight to another one.
Yeah.
You got less than 2 seconds per snake.
Thank you, Professor.
But I got to see that. Okay, so to kind of bring it back to recovery for a sec. So since 1988, you've been sober, is that
That's
correct?
correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And so also kind of when all of this started taking off for you, where you really got into snakes and all of that. But what would you attribute your 32 years of sobriety to? If you had, what has been the key for you? What's kept you going?
Good treatment works, and also getting involved in 12-step recovery groups. Because, treatment is great for discovery. Fellowships are great for recovery.
Yeah.
You get in treatment, it gets you way down the road to where you need to be, and then you're, kind of got your feet firmly planted out of midair by the time you get to where you're going to be going to meetings at. But going to meetings was real important to me.
And would you say in early recovery that was a paramount as far as
it was for
as
me.
your recovery?
Yeah. I mean, because the first couple of years when I was having sporadic relapses, I was going to meetings every day.
Right.
But, I just couldn't break the habit of going around places where they were still shooting dope.
Sure.
And I generally drank first. And
What do
then
they
the
say?
drinking-
People, places, and things.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
And if you hang out in the barbershop, you get a haircut.
That-
if you hang
I
out
know,
in the
I know.
shooting gallery, you'll shoot dope.
Now that's where Scott Kelly
Well, and
got
like
it from.
and like you said, you generally drink first, and then it kind of ends up
Lowers
leading-
the inhibitions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
And
No,
you're at that point, you're like, well, I'm already messed up, so screw it.
might as well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you've actually. I mean, because to me, being a baby in sobriety
Yeah.
and 32 years is inspirational. That you can actually, it can be done.
Yeah.
You
A day
know?
at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that's the cliche, but it truly is.
Yeah.
A day at a time.
Well, and also much appreciation for staying in the game and trying to help.
We
people
could
like
do
me,
together what
people
we
like
could never
Kelly.
do alone
Yeah.
because,
Right.
in those fellowship halls, you got some common ground
Sure.
with individuals that share that deadly disease of addiction.
Yeah.
And those individuals, together, we can do it.
I love it because I feel right at home when I go there because because it's like, oh, that guy that guy's a drunk like me, man.
That's
We're
my
all- we're
people.
all
Yeah,
nuts.
that's my people right
We're
there.
all nuts. But no, yeah, just so much appreciation for folks that get a little bit of time but still stay in the game because, someone like me, If everybody just after a year quit going to meetings and quit trying to help other people, I'm better, I'm good, I'll stay home and
I'm
watch,
good. I'll see you.
I'm gonna stay at home and
yeah.
watch Netflix now.
Yeah.
Someone like me would never have something to look up to and chase.
I know a lot of dry
appreciate it.
drunks.
Yeah.
People out there that they put the plug in the jug, but they rob themselves of so many gifts.
Yeah.
Because so much more to recovery than just being clean.
I agree.
If
and
that was all there was, I wouldn't be into it.
I was saying, as far as my 6 months of sobriety goes, is that I'm just a way better version of myself. And essentially,
Keep getting better,
that's
too.
yeah. And I mean, and I love it. I got to say I approve of sobriety.
Yeah. Well, and you keep
Sober
getting
up
better,
a horse
too.
thief, got a sober horse thief. But the heck of it is you gradually decide to change your paradigm,
Sure.
which a 25-cent word for bad habit.
Right.
But as you begin to change those things, you can become a different individual, but your core reality stays pretty much the same.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, a character's a character.
Well, speaking of character, we got one right here. So, anybody you would like to shout out to? Maybe your children.
One's in prison, and the other one is here in the Metroplex. He's a rap singer and
Okay.
qualifying. I think he's trying to break into where his brother's at.
All right.
And the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Bless their heart, they're going to have to learn everything the hard way.
Yeah.
I had hoped they would learn from some of my mistakes. They may not,
Right.
but all I can do is love them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I got
can love 'em.
I got you. But anybody else like personal in your life, or that you want to shout out to, or no?
We don't have that long.
And we don't have that. There we go. There we go. I love it. Hey, well, while we're at it, I wanted to go ahead and thank you for being on the show.
My
and
pleasure.
Of course, I love to give gifts to our guest.
Oh, I love getting gifts.
Here you go. If you can pass those over. Those are some limited edition This Pink
These
Cloud
are actually
pens.
for me. He's got some other ones.
And
All right, thank you.
Also, I wanted to give you a Lone Star shirt,
Okay?
and I will size it correctly, but I think you like Texas, right?
Oh, I'm a Texican to the hilt.
Yeah, I
But,
know, right?
yeah, take
I can't
that.
leave.
Take that and let me know when it's in a YouTube video. And
All right, yeah.
I'll be sure and plug it. But anybody out there listening, we actually have a YouTube channel now called This Pink Cloud, and we're trying to build it. So help us build it.
Like, follow, subscribe. All that good stuff.
and I do a Instagram page where it's kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So and then Facebook, we're there. We're all over. So
Yeah, watch the Instagram and you'll learn that we actually get really drunk before we film this show.
there you go. Yeah.
That's mostly
TikTok, I'm on TikTok as well.
Oh yeah.
what we do. Oh, you're doing the TikTok?
I have
Yeah.
one video's got 65,000 views in less than a week.
There you
well,
go.
I'm gonna have to follow you on TikTok now.
Yeah.
But other than that, any questions you had?
No, not really. I mean, you got, the snakes in the mouth. So what? There's
How does
so
that
many.
come about?
Well, there's so many Guinness World Records out there. It's actually pretty fun. I'm actually in the Guinness Book of World Records too.
Oh, it's the mattress thing.
The mattress thing. So
Yeah.
I learned a few things that day. For one, you remember the show American Pickers?
Yeah.
You guys ever watch that show? The shorter guy with the beard, the heavyset fellow, I forget his name.
Frank Fritz. I know.
He is obsessed with Guinness World Records, and he's in there a ton of times. He just shows up for any time there's a Guinness World Record, and he can be there. And he's in there with me, and we did this mattress domino thing or whatever. But so where snakes in the mouth, is that like a common thing with snake handling?
Is
or
there somebody out there actively seeking that record besides
You just
or
stick
trying to
all the
trying to
tails in the
dethrone
mouth
you?
From time to time, there are individuals who decide they're going to beat one of my records. Probably the most famous one that's very well known is Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson decided he was going to beat me in my bathtub record.
Okay.
Oh,
Went all over the internet. You can
Okay.
still find it. You
I
can
bet he
research it.
cheated
Okay.
somehow, though.
Well, he did never beat it.
Okay.
But,
how many did
came-
he get to?
He came to Dallas and was at the Blues, whatever, the House of Blues.
Okay, House
Yeah.
of Blues. Yeah.
Well, all this stuff that I'd had radio interviews about the dozens of people calling me up saying Marilyn Manson says he's going to beat your bathtub sitting record and all this kind of
Okay.
stuff. I go to his bus where he's out there waiting to go on, And I was going to tell him, look, you got a whole lot of money and I got a whole lot of snakes. If you want to beat this record, let's talk. He wouldn't come off the bus.
Oh, yeah?
But now his band and his manager came off the bus and got autographed pictures from me. So they were pleased to meet me, but he wouldn't come off the bus.
So he's all talk about the snake record.
Obviously, if
no
you're
action.
listening, I'm still waiting.
Hey, come on, Marilyn.
Oh, dude, calling Marilyn Manson out. What's up? He's right here.
Yeah.
But
If you go
you know,
through Rising Star, it's at the crossroads of 183 and Highway 36.
Gotcha.
Second building down on the north, on the right,
he'll
left
be
side of
waiting
the
there
road.
with a
No,
bathtub and
there's a-
rattlesnakes.
There is a mural of me.
By the way, how many rattlesnakes do you personally own?
Oh, it varies so much. There's no
Yeah.
telling. I've probably got 20 right now. Not very
Right.
many.
Okay.
This time of year, we
Do
let
you
them
name
go
them?
down pretty low. Nah.
Not that many. No big deal.
Don't bite me one.
Well,
don't
shoot,
bite
I
me
got
two.
20. I mean, I thought we were talking to the Snake Man.
But there's a mural of me painted on the front of a building
Uh-huh.
in my hometown. It's just 2 buildings up from the red light. There's only one red light in my town.
There you go.
Right.
And it says, "Welcome to Rising Star, hometown of Jackie Bibby, the Texas Snakeman." And it's me with snakes in my
Oh, I
mouth.
can't wait to go roll out there and take a picture of it. But I want to thank you again for having you out.
The star
Also,
of Rising Star. Thanks for coming on,
the
Jackie.
star of Rising Star. I like that. So also shout out to our friends at Summer Sky, which
Yeah.
will be heading there today. Probably
shortly.
do some live footage. And then anything you want to shout out?
No,
Nope, you're
just
good.
hey everybody, thanks for getting involved. Thanks for watching. As always, reach out to us if you need help. We can point you in a lot of directions.
Yeah.
Can get you to the right person. Mr. Jackie right here, same deal. You
Yeah, I
would
agree.
assume not to speak for you, but that
My
is your
telephone
specialty.
number is on the internet.
Yeah,
So I get calls, and I don't work banker's hours because neither do the dope fiends I help.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, amen to that.
My
And
phone
then-
stays on.
And then I will give our classic sign out. Remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a
Have
good
a
one.
good
Good
one.
weekend.
Cool.